A snow globe, a water globe, or snowstorm as some of the names go. You place the dome in your hand, turn it over, and magically and beautifully, the New York skyline, your favorite Disney character, or a beautiful winter scene is engulfed in a swirling snow blizzard. Invented, as history recalls, as early as 1878 in Paris, the official invented snow globe was a few years later by a Viennese man named Edwin Perry, trying to develop a better room light. Then, in 1927, an American, Joseph Garaja, pioneered improvements, and by 1950, snow globes were in every city, town, and country. Everyone can relate to them, evoking a childhood memory or memory of a simpler time. A simpler time. Tonight's performances are allowed to us take you, your audience, back in your mind to that simpler time in your life through our music and theater student performers. As seen in our first snow globe creation, there was a time long ago when the world was, shall we say, a bit simpler. Allow us tonight to have you remember those simpler times in your lives and to believe that we are now all on our way to returning to simpler times as we enter this holiday season. So, as we present, through music and theater, The Bells, Let It Snow, Carol of the Bells, and I Wonder Where I Wander. Scenes from a Snow Globe.
Hear the sledges with the bells, silver bells, silver bells. What a world of merriment their melody foretells. How they tinkle, tinkle, tinkle in the icy air of night. All the stars that oversprinkle, all the stars that oversprinkle, all the stars that intersprinkle with the crystalline delight. Time, time, time in a sort of rooted rhyme, keeping time in the time, keeping time, keeping time, keeping time in the time, keeping time till the tick-tack ambulation as the music only wells from the bells, 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 bells. Hear the sledges with the bells, silver bells, silver bells. What a world of merriment their melody foretells. From the jingling and the tingling, from the jingling and the tingling of the bells, bells.
Good evening. I'm Laura Taylor Glunt, the choir director here, and behind me you might see some suspiciously older gentlemen that don't look like they're still in high school. Well, we have invited a few gentlemen from the community to relive their choir glory days. But what I thought you might be interested in knowing is the variety of men that we have up here. And I'll let you guess who is who. But up here included with the high school singers, we have a test pilot from Piper. We have a culinary teacher who specializes in ribs. We have a young welder. We have an orchestra director. We have a refs all kinds of soccer games and all kinds of things. We have a gentleman who has over 1,000 hours in a helicopter rescuing wounded soldiers from the Vietnam War. And like I say, I'll let you guess who is who. You can talk to them after the concert if you really want to find out. But you might be wondering, well, why are they up here singing with us? And the reason is twofold. I wanted my men to hear some adult men who have been singing their entire life. So I wanted that experience for them and for them to meet these incredible gentlemen from our community. But I also wanted to point out to them that singing and making music and the performing arts is something you can do your entire life. I think one of them up here is, am I right, 89? Is that right? Not to tell tales, but you know, I'm like, you can sing your entire life. So a little Let It Snow.
I wonder as I wander out under the sky, how Jesus the Savior did come for to die. For poor ornery people like you and like I wonder as I wander out under the sky. I wonder as I wander out under the sky, how Jesus the Savior has come for to die.
Mother would say, "Don't forget your boots. Come get your mittens. Where was your hat to cover your ears? You will catch your death of cold." Kids were relishing the ideal of a snow day to stay home from school and play in the snow that had prevented the school buses from getting through the road to pick them up for school. Smells of homemade soup being made, hot chocolate, with marshmallows of course, and the heat from the fire to warm up in front of after taking those snow-covered garments off. Childhood, a simpler time. The belief that Santa was indeed coming on Christmas Eve, no matter how heavy the snow was falling, cookies on a table with milk, carrots for the reindeer of course, and waking up, no matter what holiday you celebrate, to happiness and the gift of family together. Childhood. What memories. Our snow globe scene depicts those childhood memories. Parents making sure we are warm, the joy on the little ones' faces, and the joy of the holidays and togetherness. Remember, snow globe in your hand, shake it gently, and watch the simpler times of childhood come to life.
There are moments in your growing up time that you'll be told certain things you experienced as a child are not exactly what they may have seemed. Accepting young adult changes and having to become more responsible comes into play. Then graduations, and ultimately, you're on your own, kid. We love you, but now it's time to go and become the adult we have taught you to be in the adult world. All of a sudden, that childhood simpler time is a thing of the past, and you're trying to make your way in the world. You build your life a day at a time, and perhaps even have children of your own. If you are a parent, you know that there's nothing more wonderful and healing to the soul than holding that child for the first time. And for one suspended and prolonged moment of your adulthood snow globe, times are simpler again. And then, well, they grow up. And being an adult now means teaching your child all the things that you can in becoming the next adult in the family tree that will shape the world one day. As the adult, you experience what your parents went through watching you grow up, while you now watch your child grow up to be an adult. And all these things can still be healing, and simpler times can still exist because you took the time to be the adult for yourself, your child, your family, and ultimately, your world. So, remember, snow globe in your hand, shake it gently, and think about those healing and simpler times of your adulthood life.
Mentor, historian, always encouraging and acting as role models for us from their past experiences. This is a grandparent. Some of our greatest blessings are our grandparents. They are our link to our past and can teach us our heritage. At the same time, the beauty of being a child with that childhood innocence and spending time with your grandparents can rekindle that childlike sense of fun for our grandparents themselves. Congress passed legislation that the first Sunday after Labor Day would be known as National Grandparents' Day. So, on August 3rd, 1978, under the then President Jimmy Carter, the proclamation was signed. The flower designated as the National Grandparents' Day flower is, you guessed it, the forget-me-not. Then, it was decided that the National Grandparents' Day song would be A Song for Grandma and Grandpa by Jimmy Brill. In the proclamation, it is worded something like this. As we seek to strengthen the enduring values of family, it is appropriate that we honor our grandparents. Grandparents are our continuing tie to the near past, to the events and beliefs and experiences that so strongly affect our lives and the world around us. Whether they are our own or surrogate grandparents that fill some of the gaps in our mobile society, our senior generation also provides our society a link to our national heritage and traditions. We all know grandparents whose values transcend passing fads and pressures, and who possess the wisdom of distilled pain and joy, because they are usually free to love and guide and befriend the young without having to take daily responsibility for them. They can often reach out past pride and fear of failure and close the space between generations. I urge all Americans to take the time to honor their own grandparents or those in their community. The day is a day for grandparents to be celebrated and for them to pass down history and wisdom to younger generations. Grandparents, what a treasure. Again, snow globe in your hand, shake it gently, and see the love, peace, and healing of time with beloved grandparents.
the song that stopped the war briefly. Perhaps you've heard this story. In meeting with my colleagues for this performance, I heard about it for the first time myself. So I went home and I did a little research. The First World War experienced the holidays in a variety of ways. One of the most famous events is the one that led to the unofficial spontaneous truce that took place in some parts of the Western Front, December 24th, 1914. One of the most popular sayings of 1914 was, "The war would be over by Christmas." Although the prediction was wrong, a story of the carol that paused the war came about. Most accounts suggest that the truce began with carol singing from the trenches. The British Expeditionary Force heard German troops singing carols and patriotic songs. It was a beautiful moonlit night, frost on the ground, white almost everywhere, as one private recalled in a document that later landed in the New York Times. In a book about the truce, the historian Stanley Weintraub identifies the singer who sang Silent Night was a German officer who at one time was a member of the Berlin Opera. The officer's singing of the carol in both German and English is credited with encouraging the exchange of songs, greetings, and gifts between the opposing sides. Each side put down their rifles, and it is said that there were signs held up saying, "You no shoot, we no shoot." And then they began the exchange of small items like cigarettes, food, buttons, and hats. It's also said that during this time, each side took time to bury their dead in no man's land, which was the area between the troops where they fought. Historians also suggest that the two sides played some sort of impromptu games like football. I think of the saying, "Kindness is like snow. It beautifies everything it covers." And think, for one brief snow globe moment in 1914, two opposing forces found some simpler times and healing. All these years later, although the truce may have been a one-off in the conflict, the fact that the story remains so widely commemorated speaks to the fact that at its heart, it symbolizes a very human desire for peace, no matter how fleeting. May we all share that human desire.
Someone once said, "The holiday season is a perfect time to reflect on our blessings and seek out ways to make a life better for those around us." Edith Sitwell also said, "Winter is a time for comfort, for good food and warmth, for the touch of a friendly hand, and for a talk beside the fire. It is the time for home." This evening, we have presented imaging-provoking music and theater performances. As you think about and look back at the snow globes of your life, we ask you to allow us to take you one last time to our final performance of Live to Paradise. That incorporates all 4 departments: theater, chorus, orchestra, and band students, all performing together. As always, thank you for your continued support of the performing arts. As we enter this holiday season, may we all experience our own snow globe togetherness and in our future. And now, Fly to Paradise.
And all she ever thinks about is being any other place than this. 'Cause she remembers having wings, but she's forgotten what it's like to feel a paradise of bliss. And all I want to do is fly. Just fly. All I want to do is fly. Thank